Hi everyone, welcome to episode 23 of the arieknits podcast. My name is Ariel and this is a video podcast where I talk about all things knitting and I share things that I have been working on, things I finished, and maybe some, upcoming kind of project planning things, some yarn purchases, all things yarn, all things knitting, sometimes a crochet project, sometimes sewing, and hopefully in the future some other kind of crafting projects. So this is a video podcast. I'm so happy that you are here today. It is Saturday, March 11th, and okay, first of all, I can't believe that February has already kind of just like came and went. I just can't believe it's already March and we're already in the double digits for the dates of March. But so if you have noticed, last week I did not upload a video because I did something really fun last weekend. I went to the Explore Knits pop-up at the Mercerie yarn store on Bainbridge Island here in Seattle, and it was so much fun. Like, I am still kind of riding on that, like, just how much fun and how happy I was during that whole weekend. So I will be talking about it in this video. I was thinking like, oh, maybe I will film a video like last weekend, like after the pop-up, but I was so tired. I just had, I had so much fun, but it was very like, I was just so tired. And so I was like, there's no way I'll be able to make a video. So today's the video where we are kind of stacking, like this is going to be 2 weeks worth of knitting and also be talking about the pop-up and also just like some really exciting yarn pre-orders that are coming up. So I do want to also talk about that. And yeah, so since there's a lot to talk about today, I do want to just like get started with the regular kind of like scheduled content here. So I will first start off with what I am wearing because this might also, this will take up some time because I'm really excited about this sweater. So what I am wearing, this is also a finished object. I finished it this week. It is the loop sweater by Sewrella. And I used the Sewrella Boucle yarn in the color Breckenridge. And okay, so actually sizing first. So I made the size extra small and I used US 4 needles to make this, and I used less than 3 skeins, but pretty much like 3 skeins of the yarn, or maybe like 2.5, 2 3/4 of the 3 skeins, or what am I trying to say? I bought 3 skeins and I, used that much to make the size extra small. I did increase the sleeve length a little bit, and I also increased the body length for the sweater because it's supposed to be a little more cropped, but I did want it to be a little bit more full length. So I will stand up now so that you can see it. So here is how it looks on me, and final measurements I got on this, it's 36 inches in circumference, and that gives me 5 inches of positive ease. So that is what that looks like on this sweater. As I said before, so I think like my belly button's like right here, so I did make it longer. I don't recall how much longer I made it, but I did just kind of keep going until I liked the length. Sleeves I made, I think, 1 inch or 1.5 inches longer than the pattern states, and it's still, I was honestly worried about running out of yarn for this sweater, so I did do both of the sleeves first, and I would have because when I bend my arms, you can see that my wrist is like right here, and so there's still a good amount. Like I would have, if I had to go back, will I make this sweater again? I don't know, but if I do, I would make the sleeves even longer because now that I know that I have yarn to do it, that's what I think I would do. But this was already like, I think I might have added on this much more than what the pattern states. So it's still shorter sleeves. But I don't think the length really bothers me too much because when I'm standing, it's kind of just at a wrist length. or just above the wrist. And it kind of like, you know, it's nice that they're a little shorter because then it doesn't really get in the way when I'm like doing stuff. So it's totally fine with me, but I'm really happy with kind of the length that I just kept going with the body for the sweater. And I think it fits really well. Okay, so first things first, I do want to talk about this boucle yarn because that was like the whole reason for me to make this sweater, is because I really wanted to try out the boucle yarn. And this pattern is boucle yarn like by itself, just one strand. So it's just all boucle. And maybe it'll help if I stand closer so you can see the texture here. So it's all stockinette. It's a pretty basic pattern. As I've said, so the loop sweater pattern is by Sewrella, and I'm going to be honest, the pattern was not the best. There were mistakes in there. There were some, like, for the increases for the yoke, at least for my size, there were some wrong numbers in there, but then I just like did the math to figure it out. And then as far as like separating for sleeves, there was some kind of like weird mismatch of where the short rows were for the back and where, you know, you separate for the sleeves. So that was a little strange. And I'm trying to think, oh yeah, there was, I think I talked about it before, that there was it says provisional cast on at the neckline, and then the instructions don't say anything about what to do with it after. So I just ended up doing an I-cord bind off at the top, and I think it works fine. So overall, like the pattern, I just had to like pay attention to what I was doing, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. And I've been living in this sweater, like today is the third day that I've worn this in a row because of how much I love this boucle yarn. It is surprisingly, so my first impressions of the yarn while I was working with it, I was wondering really like how was it going to feel to wear. I was worried that it was going to be heavy and it was going to be sweaty, like, you know, when things are just almost like too fluffy and warm that it just makes you sweat, like it's not breathable. So those were kind of my main concerns. But after, so I blocked it, it's, you know, dried, and then I wore it for today. As I said, it's the third day I've been wearing it because I love it so much. It is so soft, and it's almost kind of, I don't want to say bouncy, but it kind of has this drape that I really like. The drape is nice. Like, it's not as thick of a fabric as I thought it would make, and I like that a lot. So you still get the fluff, but it's not like extremely dense. And yeah, I guess, yeah, does all yarn do that? I kind of feel like it's a little bouncy, not in a bad way, but it's just something I've noticed. And I am absolutely in love with boucle yarn. So I will be buying more boucle yarn is what I'm trying to say. And I think this sweater, because I've already made it, so I know, you know, how it fits, how much yarn it uses, and that I do like it because it's a pretty basic kind of sweater. I could possibly, you know, make this same pattern again just to have like a boucle sweater. Oh, do I talk about it now? So Explorer Knits is doing a pre-order tomorrow, or when I upload this video, it'll be today, like it'll be on Sunday. And she is offering a boucle base, and I am going to go crazy on the boucle for the National Parks collection by Explorer Knits. And she posted a sample, someone knit a sample for her of boucle in the, I believe it's the Ozetta, oh, what is it called? The Ozetta, it's an Ozetta sweater pattern. I am forgetting, why is my brain blanking? But, okay, I love it so much that I want to make the exact same sweater in the exact same boucle yarn and colorway. Like, it is so pretty. And so I'm really glad that the sample was made in something, in a pattern that is not originally with boucle yarn, because yeah, I was kind of worried. Like, I really wanted to make a sweater that was As for this pattern, it was specifically for this boucle yarn and used, you know, the Sewrella boucle yarn. And so I felt pretty confident that it was going to work out well as far as like sizing and gauge. And so that made me feel comfortable with it. And so now kind of seeing that it is possible to use the boucle yarn in something that like the pattern is not originally intended for boucle yarn looks really, really cool. And so I'm really looking forward to that. And what else do I have to say? Oh, as far as like how it feels to knit with it, I will say it's a little difficult because the boucle yarn kind of has those loops in it that sometimes when you're knitting it kind of gets like caught, or sometimes you catch a loop where you don't want to. But I didn't have that much of a problem. Like it really didn't bother me. It just was different, and I think made my knitting just a little bit slower than the normal, but it wasn't anything super crazy. So yeah, there's that. But the one thing that I found just I don't want to do, or you have to weave in ends, but with the boucle yarn, weaving in ends was kind of a struggle, because as the same thing with, you know, because there's loops, when you knit sometimes you catch a loop. Like when you are trying to run through, like weave in the ends, you kind of have to like pull on it so that the loops don't catch, because they keep getting stuck on each other. But the way that the yarn, the loops are kind of wrapped around like a core, and so those loops will end up kind of like pushing down on the core, and then you can't really like get it through like all of the stitches you're trying to weave through. So that was a bit frustrating. It wasn't like terrible, but it was something I noticed that I was like, oh my gosh, this is not, it's not really fun to weave in ends. But the good thing is that you don't really, I'm always kind of worried when I weave in ends. Like I really weave them through a lot of stitches because I really don't want it to, I feel like I said really a lot. I don't want the ends to kind of be undone, so I weave through a lot of the stitches. But for the boucle yarn, I just like couldn't do that. But the good thing is that because it kind of catches on itself, hopefully even if I'm weaving through less stitches to weave in the ends, it'll be more secure because it was harder to get them through. If that logic makes sense. So, but anyway, it didn't stop me from, you know, liking making this sweater, or, you know, wanting to wear it or want to make more. Like I really am looking forward to making more boucle sweaters because I just like how it feels. It's so soft. It's not, yeah, and it's, for me, it feels breathable. Like there's nothing, I can wear it all day and I don't feel like really sweaty that I have to take it off. But it keeps me warm. I will say I haven't worn it outside yet, so I don't know how it feels, like if it's windy or just, you know, standing out in the cold. I'm not sure how warm it will be, but I kind of have this feeling that it's warm and it's cozy. It's not itchy, and I really like boucle yarn, I think. So I'm looking forward to more boucle sweaters, and I cannot wait to get my hands on more boucle pretty much. So yeah, so that is a very long story about what I am wearing and my first finished object for the week. So I might just be like continuing, like this is a sweater I can just like sleep in, I think. It's very cozy. It would be really cute with like a cardigan, like a boucle cardigan. I would love to, I need to look for more patterns, but okay. Anyway, boucle, I love it. Really like this sweater pattern, but you know, the outcome of it, I do really like it. Okay, I feel like I might have been just like speed talking through all of that because I just really wanted to say how much I like the boucle yarn, and I was really looking forward to talking about it in this video. But we'll continue on. So I do have one more kind of finished object to talk about, and this is my Corran Cardigan. This is a test knit for Rebecca, the Crayabea, and it looks so cute. So I say kind of finished because I didn't sew the buttons on yet, but other than that, like it's finished knitting, weaved in ends, and it's blocked. So it really, all it needs is for me to sew on the buttons, but I could also wear it, you know, without the buttons. So yeah, so this one I made, there's different versions that you can make for this. So I did the one where there's short sleeves. The pattern also has instructions for long sleeves. And then I did the rounded neck versus there's a V-neck version. So yeah, so that's this. This is really kind of just like a cute, I think really good like spring or summer thing to just like put on. And since it's all over lace, it's of course very breathable, and I really like the lace pattern, and it came out really nice after blocking, I think. And the yarn I used is a cotton yarn, the Bernat Softee Cotton in the color Sandstone, which is just a really kind of light orange color. So I am looking forward to wearing this when I go back to Hawaii, because I think that'll be perfect weather to wear this with. And I'll hopefully take some, after I sew on the buttons, I'll take some finished object pictures and share it on my Instagram as well. But yeah, this was a very fun knit. It worked up really quickly because of just the really kind of large gauge because of the all over lace. And it used less yarn than I was expecting, and so now I'm kind of thinking I do want to make a V-neck long sleeve version. And so I don't know if I'll cast that on right away since I, just kind of finished this, but I do have some yarn maybe to make the long sleeve one. I was worried initially that I wasn't going to have enough yarn to make it with the yarn I was thinking of, but because this took a little less yarn, I might be okay. So yeah, so that is this cardigan. I think it's really cute. I like the construction, and I think it all just kind of worked out really nicely. And what else? I did no modifications. I just followed the pattern as is. So yeah. So that is this cardigan. The color is so nice and feels very like spring, summer, sunshiny kind of color. Okay, so that is, yeah, so this one and the thing that I'm wearing were my two finished objects for the past 2 weeks, which I think is pretty good. And let me now move on to my works in progress, because I also made a lot of progress there. And first, what do I show? Actually, I can show on my new cast on, because I wanted to reward myself by casting something on, because I did a lot of finishing up projects in the past few weeks. So, and I also, the last video I talked about like all of the plans that I had, and so I finally started one and casted something on. Let me show the front of it. It's kind of all squished on my needles right now, so it might not really look like anything. But I started the Birch Pullover by Andrea Mowry. It's my first pattern by Andrea Mowry, if you can believe it. So I'm really excited for it. So far it's going well. And the yarn I am using is Woolberry Fiber Co. Berry Natural Base in the colorway I Smell Snow. So let me just show you, because I like seeing how yarn looks in the skein. So this is what this color looks like in the skein, and this is how it looks. I mean, I kind of used up some of it, so it looks a little strange, but this is how it looks in the cake version. And I will say, after kind of knitting with it and looking at it, it's very much like a gray blue with just hints of like a purpley pink in there. And I do really like that. I've kind of realized that I think I'm leaning towards gray things lately. Like this color, the sweater I'm wearing is a gray color, and this one is definitely leaning towards a gray, even though it has, pink and blue in it. But I really like how those colors are kind of showing up in the texture of this sweater. And so I'm just continuing in the round right now. And I really like, so it's a raglan, so it has, I really like how those stitches look on the side, like how the increases are done out on the side there. And overall, yeah, I've kind of been really working on this quite a bit for the past few days. I think I cast this on maybe 3 days ago. Just been really working at it because it's just kind of like addicting to do. So I believe that this is like half fisherman's rib stitch, which I'm not sure. I thought I've done it before, but is there another way to knit it? Because I don't recall having done it this way in the past. So like I didn't realize that every other round is a purl round, and then after that is the ribbing, but when you knit in the stitch below. And I didn't know that that's how that was done, so it's interesting. And the gauge for this is so small. So I think that I think I've made some pretty good progress considering like how small the gauge is. But I believe like row wise, it's like 50 something for 4 inches, which is insane. But I really like how it looks right now, and so again, this is just one that I think it'll be kind of a pain to work on because it would just be so much knitting, but the end result's going to be amazing. And to get gauge, I kind of did like a small gauge swatch and then like ripped it out and then, you know, started on this. So I don't have the gauge swatch to show, but I had a feeling I'd have to go down a needle size because I do knit kind of on the looser side. And I am using US 1.5 needles. Is that right? I think I got that wrong in my notes. Hold on. Let me just change that here before I forget. Okay. Yeah, so I'm using US 1.5 needles. And so these are the needles I used to make my socks with. So it just feels kind of crazy. But so far, yeah, it's just been going. Just a lot of knitting, but I've been really liking seeing it grow and kind of seeing how the color spreads out. And just, yeah, I do really like how this looks. And I know I'm crazy. Maybe I'll change my mind after I'm done finish knitting this sweater, but I want to make another Birch pullover. I think I'm really going to like it. So I feel like I was in between size 1 and 2, so I am making size 1, mostly because I don't have enough yarn to make a size 2, so I am making a size 1. We'll see how it fits, and then for my next one, as long as I'm not too tired of it after knitting this, I will maybe make a size 2. We'll see. But yeah, so who knows how long this will take me. Feel like it might take me a while depending on how many more projects I have on my needles at a time. But yeah, for like 3-4 days, I feel like this is pretty good progress. I wonder if I could finish or like split for sleeves by next week. I think it's doable, but again, depending on how many more things I want to work on this week. Yeah, I've just been, oh, I dropped a stitch. Okay, we're good. But yeah, okay, this is the Birch pullover, first pattern I'm making by Andrea Mowry, and I'm really excited about it. And I will say I do have plans to cast on another Andrea Mowry pattern this coming week, and it is going to be the big cozy cardi. I'm so excited for that one too. Okay, so next work in progress that I've been working on. Oh, this was my project that I brought with me to Bainbridge Island when we were waiting for the Mercerie to open up for the pop-up last weekend. So I did get some work done on this. This is the Lofi shawl. Oh, it looks so good in the lighting right now. Like the sunshine is kind of like out today. And this color looks so good on the camera. Okay, so Lofi shawl patterned by Bridget, BZB Knits, and yarn colorway is Woolberry Fiber Co. Berry Natural Base. So I am also really kind of been liking the non-superwash bases, at least from Woolberry. So again, just another kind of project using the Berry Natural Base by Woolberry. so soft and so nice to work with. The colorway is Hello Autumn. And I love how, oh, sorry, that is technically the wrong side I was showing. It's the right side. And I just really like how it looks with this pattern. And yeah, so I'm just like, just continuing. It is growing larger day by day, or week by week, as you'll see it. So I know I'm really gonna like this. So I'm hoping that by the time I finish this, the weather won't be like too hot for me to have a shawl. Even if it's a little warm, maybe not warm, as long as it's a little cool, I think I'll still kind of use it and wrap it around myself just so I can be cuddly with my shawl, because I've been really liking shawls lately. So this is making me even more excited about this. So yes, I'm on the second ball of yarn. Oh my gosh, that is so loud. Sorry. So I am on the second ball of yarn. I have 3 balls of yarn to make this, and so we are slowly getting there. But it's such a relaxing knit. Like, I just really like it. It's like kind of mindless, but still enough interest to kind of like keep you going, which I really, really like in a pattern. So that's working out really well. And then I was working on this morning. This is the Dawn to Dusk Shacket Test Knit by Tiff Knit. And I feel like I haven't touched it in a while, so I forget where I was the last time, like where I was in as far as like how much I made the last time I talked about it in a podcast. I think I did finish 2 sleeves, so I think you have seen the 2 sleeves finished with, I think, the really cool like placket on the sleeve, which is really nice. The double knitted cuffs where it'll like then fold over and there'll be a button here, which I think will be really nice. And I know, actually, yeah, what I did work on this week was I finally finished, well, almost finished the body, the main part of the body. So I might need to stand up. This is a huge project. So, and it's a little curled up because it's not, blocked yet, but I did finish the body as far as like the hem shaping. So as you can see, there is like a split hem, but it does curve for the front and also the back. Oh my gosh, should I just like hold it for a little bit? Again, it's all scrunched up, so it'll make more sense once it's all blocked out. But this is a weird way to hold it. This is the side seam, and then it curves on the sides, like to the front and to the back. And of course, it's the same on the other side as well. Can you see that? It looks like the front is longer, but it's not. It's the same length here, like that. And I say almost done because there's still like the piping to be done on the edging of the hem after, but you have to do that, doing that later. So almost done, but pretty much done with like the whole body of this ginormous shacket, but I think so worth it because having this like nice oversized shacket is going to be really fun and cozy to wear. And now what am I working on? I am working on the button band right now. So let me reorganize so I can show you. Okay, let me shake it out. Okay, so yeah, so right now I'm just in the middle of working one side of the button band. Oh, it's so long. You can't even see the bottom. So yeah, bottom, button band. So this is the side that there's buttonholes, which it's always, I don't particularly like knitting buttonholes, but the part of knitting buttonholes I don't like is actually just measuring out where to put the buttonholes. Like that takes me so long to figure out. Knitting them is like knitting buttonholes can sometimes be a little tedious and just have a lot of ends to weave in after, but knitting it is okay. It's the measuring out and figuring out where to put them that I just really don't like doing that. But it's okay. So we're almost there to the top, and it is a double knitted, and again, because it's not blocked, it looks a little wrinkly, but it's a double knitted button band, and there is a piping detail done in between the button band and like where the body is, which I think looks really nice. Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of like that piping or like edging kind of detail on this pattern, and it's a little, again, kind of like tedious to work, but I think the overall end result is going to look amazing. So yeah, we're almost there on the Shacket, and it's going to be worn, I think, quite a lot by me. I can see it because it's big enough so that you can fit it over kind of pretty much anything you're wearing. I think even if you're wearing like a knitted sweater, you could probably wear this over if it's cold enough. So yeah, so that's this. And I've talked about this before, but again, so if you haven't heard me talk about this, I did forget to just say the yarn here. So really quickly, the yarn I am using is the Rerum Natura Gilliatt yarn in the colorway Darjeeling. I'm really happy with the choice of it. I think it's going to be great and something that matches with a lot of my wardrobe, just like a really nice brown jacket. And I did buy buttons for it, so once I'm done with it, put on the buttons, I can show you the buttons. I'm excited for this, as always. Okay, I'm excited for all of my knitting projects, if you haven't already been able to tell. Okay, and then my next one, my last work in progress I have been working on. I made a ton of progress on this, and again, I can't remember where I left off the last time I talked about it, because I think it's been a while. I took a break from it for a while, and then I was like, I just need to like get it done. Just need to work on it. So this is, where's the front? Okay. Here it is. This is my double date sweater by Winter's Weather Knits, and I am using Sewrella Yarn in the Cashmere DK base, and I'm using 4 different colors. So I believe, what is, okay, I think the main color, so kind of like that white, purpley, with like I guess it is a speckled color. The main color is Napa. And then the stripes, I'm using 3 different colors. So I believe that wine bottle green is this dark green. The last glass is this lighter yellow green. And then somm is the dark purple. So I finished the body, and this is worked bottom up. So I finished the body, split for the sleeves, you know, and did kind of joined for the shoulders up here. I finished almost finished an entire sleeve. I am saving the very end, like doing the cuff for the end, because I was a little concerned, still am, but little less concerned, that I was going to run out of my main color. So I was thinking, because what happened was, now it's coming back to me, because I haven't touched this in a while. I say a while, but by a while it means like, since this is covering 2 weeks worth of knitting, this was the first week. So I didn't work on this past week. It was 2 weeks ago. But when I was knitting this, so I am knitting the smallest size, and since it's worked bottom up, I was worried about, once I finished where it said to finish working the body and to split for, you know, front and back, I was like, it seems like it's going to be too cropped. And so I added like an extra like stripe and main color section. to the body because I just didn't want it to be cropped. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that might have been a mistake. I might be like just run out of yarn possibly. So I quickly kind of finished the body and did a whole sleeve because I wanted to see how much of the main color a sleeve would take. And thankfully it takes less than a skein of my main color. So right now I have one more skein of my main color to finish the second sleeve and then to hopefully finish the cuffs and the neckband as well. But my idea was if I do run out of my main color, hopefully it's enough to finish like a whole sleeve, but maybe the cuffs, the sleeve cuff and the neckband, maybe I could make those in one of the striped colors, like the solid colors. So I might actually do that anyway because that sounds like a really cute idea. But I don't know. I wonder, like, should I do, if I do the cuffs and the neckband in one of the striped colors, would I do all three in the same color? And so I just pick the purple, the green, or the light green? Or do I do like the cuffs in one color and the neckband in another color? I don't know. I still have time to think about it because I have a whole second sleeve to make before I have to decide. But I made a lot of progress on this and I'm really happy about it. I think part of the reason though is because I don't know if it's just me, but when I am worried that I'm going to run out of yarn for a project, it makes me want to just knit on it. Because I just I have to know if I'm going to run out of yarn. I don't want to keep it waiting. There's something about I just need to know right away if I'm going to run out of yarn. So that's kind of why I just sped through knitting a whole bunch of this sweater. So yeah, I kind of feel a bit rushed on finishing the sweaters that I want to knit and the ones I have in progress because I'm worried that by the time I finish it, it's going to be too hot to wear. And so I want to finish it while I can still wear it. So I think it'll still be cool. It hasn't gotten, it's still been cold here in Seattle, but I don't know. There's a part of me that's I can't believe it's already March. It's almost springtime. And what if it gets too warm to wear all of my knitted sweaters? So part of me feels rushed to finish this, but that's okay. As long as I'm enjoying it. I think that's all that really matters. But yeah, this sweater is also a lot of knitting. It's DK weight, so it goes by pretty fast, but it is going to be pretty oversized. The sleeves are pretty oversized, especially right where it, what am I trying to say? Right where it connects to the body. It's huge. But hopefully that makes it super cozy and comfortable. Okay, let me put this back in my project bag. I've been doing a little better about putting my projects in project bags. I still could do better, but I think it's, at least, I have project bags now. Before, I just left them all on the bed. Not the bed I sleep on, but I have an extra bed in the den that all of my knitting projects just kind of lived on, which honestly they still do, but at least some of them are in bags now. Okay, and is that all of my works in progress? Yes, okay, so where do we start next? Okay, I guess it's time to talk about my experience at the Explorer-Knits pop-up on Bainbridge Island at Mercerie, and also to show you it is yarn haul time. So I have all of the yarn that I bought from the pop-up, and I will show you all of the yarn that I bought. And I also have some Sewrella yarn that I bought that just came in yesterday in the mail that I'll also share. So, so it's haul time. It is also chat time. So the Explorer-Knits pop-up, again, was so much fun, and it kind of went, honestly, I was a little nervous about it, but it went so much better than I was expecting. And I mean, I knew I was going to have a great time, but I'm always just kind of like nervous, especially if it's something that I haven't like done before and with people that I've, you know, never met before. So it was like my first time meeting Allie and Darren from Explore Knits, and so that kind of made me nervous, but I was excited for it as well. And I also got to hang out with my new knitting friends in Seattle. So it was the second time I think we've ever hung out, and they're so much fun. And I also met a new knitting friend, and okay, so I hope they don't mind me talking about this a little bit, but they asked me to have a sleepover with them the night before, and we did like all of our yarn planning together on what we wanted to buy from the pop-up, and it was so much fun. And then we are all crazy people for Explore Knits yarn, and so we took the very first ferry out on that Saturday morning, which I think left at like 6:15 or 6:20 or something like that. And yeah, that was, I mean, I've only taken the ferry like twice ever, and so this was the first time I took the very early ferry, and also in a car. I've always just walked on previously, so that was also a whole experience itself. And it was like dark because it's so early in the morning, and it was just like, yeah. And so that was all. We were just like really excited and got to the store. Surprisingly, there was someone already in line at the store, but so as people were, there were so much, not so, well, there were more people than I was expecting to be there that early in the morning, but we all were just like chatting and asking each other like what we're planning on getting as far as yarn goes, and we just like all were like, what are you wearing? Like, what sweater is that? What yarn are you using? That's also really fun to do. And yeah, the weather though, I was not prepared for. I thought I was prepared for it, and then I forgot that I haven't ever stood outside in any kind of cold weather for a while. Like during college, like school time, like I'm always outside, like walking to different classes, and so I got like used to it and knew how to dress for that. But ever since like working from home, I just like almost never leave, and I'm never having to really walk outside for any kind of length of distance or having to stand outside, and so I forgot that it gets kind of cold. So yeah, it was a little cold and it was a little rainy. So that was, you know, that was a thing, but we were all kind of just like huddled and just had good conversations, and then there was just people kind of going back and forth on getting coffee and tea, and that was also really nice and kind of a lifesaver. And then I think after a couple hours, so the store opened at 11, and when we got there it was like 7 a.m. So there were a couple hours, and then Jess, the store owner for La Mercerie, once she came by, she kind of like met us outside and was really kind and said that we could, you know, she would give us tickets with our number in line so that we could go into a coffee shop or do whatever to stay, you know, indoors and warm until it was time to, you know, for the shop to open. And so after that, we found a whole group of us and all new knitting friends. We went into a coffee shop and we just like sat and all knitted together, and it was really cute. We like went around in a circle and talked about what we were knitting on and also what we were wearing if, you know, people asked. And yeah, it was such a fun and energizing but also relaxing, and just like I felt like we were all kind of like we were all in it together. Like we were all, I don't want to say suffering together, but you know, we're all like, oh, in the cold together. It was raining, and then we're all knitting. It was just really fun and really cute, and I was really happy to be a part of it. And then, yeah, the store opened, and I was able to get some yarn. So I guess I'll just talk about that now. Let me grab it here. Oh, I am hoping that okay, so I was really wanting to cast on something with this yarn right after I got it, but then I was like, oh, but I really want to show it in the podcast. So yeah, so it's just been all in this bag here. And I just bought so much yarn. Yeah, I bought a lot of yarn, but it's just because it's really good yarn. Okay, also, I will say, I'm hoping I'm not forgetting about talking about anything about the whole experience, because the bad thing about me having waited a whole another week to talk about it for the podcast is that's just a whole week of me maybe forgetting some details. So hopefully I got most of it. Overall, had a great time. Great time with knitting friends, and all things, like, I feel like they just, like, I never felt like anyone would understand my obsession with yarn and just different colors and like different bases and just stuff like that, and to be around everyone who just like gets it and is like the same, it just is really nice. So yeah, okay, so the yarn, as far as planning for this, I kind of like changed my plans around a lot, because I felt like, I was like, there's no way I can get sweater quantities of every single Seattle color, you know, but I think I did pretty okay compared to like my initial like instinct of like when they revealed all the colors, I was like, I want sweater quantities of all 6 of the Seattle colorways. So I did adjust. So what I did was, and this is my thinking behind what I decided to get. So I did grab a mini set of the Seattle colors so that I would at least feel like I have one of each color. Like I will have some kind of yarn in all of the Seattle colors. So I didn't need sweater quantities in all the colors, but I do have the minis, and I think they're really cute. I'm hoping to make something striped with all of them. I think that'll be super fun, but I'm not sure on pattern yet. So they'll just be sitting here in the package looking really pretty for now. But yeah, I'm hoping to find something that I can make some kind of stripe thing with them. So I definitely had to get a mini set. Ooh, okay. Then I really needed to get the sock set that they were doing with the other like Seattle. So the 6 Seattle colors, these are all like tonals, and then there was one variegated called Morning Ritual, with also the mini, which was red for, this is Pike Place. I should have wrote down what all of the different like tonal colors were, so that's my bad. But the red is Pike Place, and the variegated is Morning Ritual, and I love the variegated color so much. And yeah, I just felt like I had to get a sock set, because I also have this thing where I feel like I need to get a like standard, not necessarily like sock base, but some kind of like, yeah, I mean maybe like a sock base, but not necessarily one that has like nylon in it, but just a super-wash base of a yarn color. So I was like, okay, mini sets cover the tonals, and then I really needed to get a skein of Morning Ritual, and then I was like, I should just get the sock set because that's cute. So sock set of Morning Ritual. It was funny because the night before, when we planned all the colorways, I didn't include the sock set, and then in the middle of the night, I kind of like kept waking up because I was just like really excited for the whole like day of adventure, yarn adventure. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh my gosh, how did I forget the sock set? And I just like wrote it down in my list on my phone. I was like, I have to get the sock set. So yeah, so that's how I ended up getting this. I really like the color. I really like this color. I mean, I kind of feel like I should have gotten more skeins of it, but that's okay, because I then got a sweater's quantity of, let me just grab it. Okay, I did get a sweater's quantity of Morning Ritual, but not in the superwash base, or not in the sock base, or I got it in Surrey. So that is my thing, and that is kind of my problem, is that when I love a color on Surrey, there's still a part of me that feels like I want to get it in like a normal base, a non-Surrey base. So that was also kind of like, really like how it looks here, but I also wanted it in Surrey. So instead of getting 2 sweater quantities, 1 in Surrey and 1 in the Denali sock base or DK, just get a sock set. That's just how my brain's been working. But look how cute it is in Surrey. There's no words. I just think it's perfect, and I cannot wait to cast something on with this. So I did get a sweater quantity, morning ritual, Surrey. I love the pops of color in it, and red is not something I think I usually buy for myself, or that I haven't really bought red for myself, but I think it's just really cute and fun, and it looks so good. I can't wait to see how it looks knitted up. Ooh, I just kind of want to stare at these. Okay, but I have to move on. We have to show everything else that I got. Okay, and then I also went crazy on the Surrey again, and I had to get, so this is not a Seattle color, but it was a colorway that she brought to the store for the pop-up, and this is Roma. So it kind of has similar vibes to Morning Ritual, but not really. But here, you'll see what I mean. So this one's Morning Ritual, and it's definitely more of a white base, but they're both kind of like tan, orangey, peachy. Some of you might be like, what are you talking about? These are two complete. They are very completely different, but as far as like, I don't know, to me they're similar, but obviously very different. But anyway, so this is Roma sweaters quantity, and I just think it looks really nice. I will, of course, make some kind of sweater with this. And then, as I was saying before, how whenever I get Surrey of a colorway, I feel like I have to get it in another base. I did get 2 skeins of Roma in the Denali sock base. So you can see kind of the differences here. So this is the Denali sock base, and then this is the Surrey. Same colorway. Yeah, so 2 skeins of this. So it's probably, this is probably enough for me to make some kind of like tank top or t-shirt. And I just really, really like this color. I don't think, so believe it or not, the first time I discovered Explorer Knits and their yarn was like in the middle of last year. The Ireland collection was the first time I bought from Explorer Knits, because it was the first time that I heard about them. So I am quite new as far as Explorer Knits yarn colorways go, and so I've never seen or heard of the Roma colorway, but when I saw it on the Instagram for kind of just showing the colorways at the pop-up, I knew that I wanted to get this colorway. So yeah, so this is Roma, and then I also, I should have continued, actually that's okay. Let me first talk about, okay, so I did also, this is also another colorway that was a previous Explorer Knits colorway that I've never seen or heard of, because it's older than 1 year. I believe so anyway. So, and if I'm wrong, I super apologize. But yeah, so this is Thistle. Got 2 skeins in Denali sock. This colorway is so pretty. Like, it is like a purple, I can't think of a word. It's not mauve, but it's purple, but not, it's like a rose purple, a wine purple, but not, anyway, sorry, not great at describing this color, but I thought it was really pretty, and it's not something I think I have as far as yarn goes. So I felt like I had to get it. So 2 skeins of this. And then let me bring out, because of course I had to get, if I had to get a sweater's quantity of a Seattle tonal, could you guess which one I had to get? It would be the pink color, which they called Gumwall. And it's the cutest pink. So I got 3 skeins in Denali sock and 3 skeins of the Mercerie. And I think that it is, I love how they look like both in the Denali sock and the Mercerie, but especially in the Mercerie. I really, really like how this pink turned out. So it's, they call it Gumwall, so it's like bubblegum pink, but it's honestly not like, I think it's like a mature bubblegum pink. Like it's not something super bright. Like it's kind of like a toned down, muted, rosy pink. Like it's not too bright. I don't like really bright pinks, and so I was really happy when I saw this in person that it was just a very nice light pink without it being like baby pink. Bright, you know, like a bright, super light color, but still pastel kind of pink. I just really like it a lot. Yeah, so I am planning on making like a wrap cardigan with this. So yeah, this might be the first thing I cast on since I know exactly what I want to make with it. So we'll see. But yeah, so that was something else I got, and then okay, last minute. So we got all of the yarn that we wanted to and were planning to when we first, you know, when the line first started going. And then because it was so busy, we went, you know, we left the store. So we bought our yarn, left the store, had some lunch, and then we came back after the line was gone so that we could talk to Allie and Darren and like Jess and Emily and, you know, everyone else at the store. So second round, I did get more yarn, but was it just, yeah. So this was, I forgot to talk about the other yarn. Okay, but let me talk about this one first. So this was the second round. I was thinking about getting this colorway. So this is Lavandula. I don't know how you say that. And I really like this color. I'm, again, not really like a blue-green kind of person, but there was something about how this one looks I really liked. And so yeah, second round, they still had 4 skeins of this in the Rockies DK base. And I was like, all right, I'll just take it as a sign as I'll get these 2 since they're still there. So I did get 4 skeins of this. I am actually planning on making the Water Bearer cardigan by Jacqueline Cieslak. I've made it previously, but I don't really like the yarn that I used for it. And so now I think this would look really cute in that pattern because it has that brioche kind of wave pattern. And I would like to, yeah, have another go at that pattern and making that cardigan. So I think that might be my plans for this yarn. And then my new knitting friends are so nice, and they are including me in their plans on going to the Flock Fiber Festival in Seattle in August. I think it's in August this year. And I got 2 skeins of the Pike Place colorway in Denali sock base to make a tank top. So they're kind of all planning to make matching tops in terms of like all using the same color, but you know, whichever pattern that we want to make with it. So I got 2 skeins of this so that I can make a tank top to wear for the Flock Fiber Festival in August. And again, I'm not really a red person, but I couldn't pass up getting the Pike Place colorway, and I think it'll be something really cute. Like a red tank top I think will be really, really cute. I don't think I could do like a red sweater. I think that'll be like a lot. But a red tank top I think I can do and be something really cute. So yeah, so that's that's all of the colors. I feel like I maybe rushed through that. I hope it wasn't too rushed. But that is all of the yarn that I bought from the pop-up. Yeah, so I think I've covered a mixture of colors. Like I've got red and blue and pink, you know. So got some minis and lots of suri. So I feel very, very happy with that yarn purchase. As far as my goal of using more yarn than I acquire for this year, so that goal is, I mean, I'm going the complete opposite of that. Maybe I can redeem myself at the last half of this year if people stop, if all of the yarn dyers I love just stop making really pretty colors. That'll be super helpful because all of the collections that have been coming out have just been so good. But okay, let me think. Was there anything else about that pop-up? I mean, if you have questions about it, feel free to comment down below. But I just wanted to say, like, overall, a great time, so much fun. It was the craziest thing that I have done for yarn. But I think what I'll say, it's the first crazy thing that I've done for yarn, but I don't regret it. Like, it was just the best thing, I think, ever. And I'm just so happy I have yarn friends, and yeah, I just feel really happy about it. Okay, so that is the Explore Knits pop-up. Oh, and then, oh my gosh, how could I forget? Okay, so I did do my plan of wearing my Holiday shawl, which is a pattern by Emily Curtis, who works at the store. And so I got to see her in person and show her my shawl. And I used the Explore Knits, the 4 variegated colors from the Winter Solstice collection. And I used that to make the shawl. So I got to show Emily, I got to show Allie and Darren, and it seemed like they really liked it too. So, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I was so like focus on bringing and wearing the shawl to the pop-up that I was like, what sweater am I gonna wear? And then I was like, let's wear my dad's sweater. So the dad's sweater is a pattern also by Emily Curtis. So I was just all in Emily Curtis patterns because they're great and she's lovely. And so that was really fun. And then Katie, one of my friends from, knitting friends, we were hanging, and okay, so yeah, she also wore her dad's sweater and also brought her Holiday shawl, so we were both matching. I feel really bad. I realized after, I was like, I didn't get a picture of us in, you know, like being like dad's sweater and Holiday shawl. But we did take a picture with me, Emily, Sylvan, and Katie in our Holiday shawls, and Emily posted it on her Instagram. That was really cute, and that made me really happy. So there was that picture with all of us, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so I feel like I could continue talking about the pop-up just as like things come back to me and remind me about it, but I should probably stop because this video is going to be way too long. But if you're here for that haul content, get ready for a little more because I do have some Sewrella yarn that I bought from the, not the Disneyland, because that was, the order just happened for that, but this was the Downton Abbey collection. So Sewrella is bringing back each month this year like full collections of previous collections that she's done, and I can't believe she's doing that. I don't know how she's doing that, but it's also dangerous because that's every month is a whole collection. So I feel like I did pretty good with this one. So I got a mini set. I feel like mini sets are a bit dangerous because I might go overboard, but I think that they're my way of saving myself from buying sweater quantities of too much colors by just saying, feeling like I get a little taste of each of the colors. So I bought the full mini set from the Downton Abbey collection. So that's what that looks like. probably make something striped with it. And maybe not all the colors in one project, but I'll probably split them maybe in like 2 different sets and group them by what I think colors would look nice together. And then sorry if the plastic is kind of an annoying sound, but this is the first time that I ordered the silk sock base. And so I got the silk sock base in the colorway Rose. So that's what that looks like. I was a bit worried about how like the colors would dye up in the silk base since it's slightly different than like the kind of your standard superwash base. So I don't know if you can tell, but the second color here is the rose color. And I mean, the silk base is actually, I could just take it out of the packaging here. Okay. The silk base is shiny, and I have to say, honestly, it's shinier than I thought it would be in person. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but I will save my judgments on it until I knit with it and then have a finished object and kind of wear it to see how it looks. But as you can tell, so this is the like the sock base, and this is the silk base. The colorways are just slightly of a different tone. I would say that this one is more like muted, a bit more like mauve, and this one comes out more bright. And I think part of that might be because it's a shinier base, but you can, I can tell that they're of a slightly different undertone. Like this one I think is more pinky, and this one's coming out more purple to me. But I still think that, you know, this is a nice color on this base, and so yeah, I will be making a tank top with this, and so we'll see kind of like how that goes. And yeah, like it feels fine, feels soft, feels like it will make a comfortable tank top. So that's that. And then I bought I would say sweater's quantity, but it's for a vest, so it's a little less than a sweater's quantity of this colorway in Edith, and this is a really pretty pink. It is definitely more of like a sandy pink, I think, in my opinion. And again, I love how it looks in Surrey. I love how it looks on the classic sock base. And my plan is to pair it together, and I'm going to make the, why can't I think of the vest? It is the Chantilly vest. Is it called the Chantilly vest? It's by Penrose Knits. It's the vest that has the ruffle on it. I've been wanting to make that pattern for so long, and there just hasn't been a yarn combination that I felt like I wanted to make it with. So when I saw this colorway, I was like, I think it'd be really cute to have like a light pink Chantilly vest because of the ruffles. It'll just look really, really, really cute and pretty. So I did buy enough to make that with this colorway, and that was all of the yarn I bought from that collection. I felt really good about that, and I did buy some like market items from it, which I feel like don't count because it's not yarn. So I did get, there was like these shortbread cookies as part of that because it's like Downton Abbey and like tea time, and so there was these shortbread cookies. So I thought that would be really cute. Didn't try them yet, but now that I've talked about it and shown it on the podcast, it'll probably just stay out of the box, and I might just eat it soon. And then I did get, because I love Sewrella's wool washes, I got one of each of the scents that she had for this collection. And I was not, when the Downton Abbey collection by Sewrella came out, I don't think I was knitting back then. Definitely was not aware of what Sewrella was or what hand-dyed yarn was back then. So I missed out on that collection. So I think that there also was, like, these are new scents for that she created for this, like, comeback of the collection. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. So these are, like, first reactions of the scents, if I can open it. Okay, this one's the drawing room. I don't know if there's a seal on it, and I can't, like, twist open the bottle. I think that one smells really clean smelling, and I like it. Okay, the next one is the library. Yeah, I think I need to take the seal off. But okay, my strength is failing me right now on camera, so I'll just tell you what the scents are for now. And then the third one is tea time. That's so cute. Okay. Can I smell it? Not really. Yeah, my strength is failing me, so I won't be able to twist those open on camera. But, okay, I think that covers everything that has happened within the past 2 weeks, pretty much. So, yeah, there was a lot of acquired yarn recently, but it makes me feel really happy, and that I was able to, like, share that experience with friends has been really fun, and I can't wait. I think what I'm, like, the next exciting thing to happen is going to be the Flock Fiber Festival happening in August in Seattle, and I just, like, Explore Knits is going to be there, Sewrella's going to be there, Woolberry's going to be there, like, all of the people that I love buying yarn from and think they're awesome, like, they're, like, going to be there, and I get to meet them in person. Like, that's crazy. That's so exciting. And hopefully get to meet and see the people that I've met at the pop-up, and we were all, like, hanging out outside of the store or in the coffee shop, like, get to see them again in August at the Flock Fiber Festival. So something to look forward to, more yarny friends, and yeah, so I feel like I was on just, like, a very, like, talkative rant, not rant, but just, like, a lot of exciting talk and things to share here. So I will end it for this episode now. I'm just looking around, making sure I didn't forget any projects or yarn. If I did, I'll just talk about it again next week. But that is it for this episode. I had such a great time, as I've said like a bajillion times already in this video. I am so happy that all of it kind of worked out and got all of the yarn that I wanted. I worked on some really fun projects. Don't forget this boucle sweater that I love, because I've heard, like, mixed things about boucle yarn, and so this was the first time I've used a yarn that was like this, and I'm really, really happy with it. So that's kind of like my opinion on boucle yarn right now. Oh, really quickly, so tonight, which will, since I post the videos a day after I film it, but tonight is a Coast to Coast yarn, her, I forget, like, favorites collection. I think it's called something, but I think it's pretty much like a favorites collection. It's coming out tonight, and so there's some really, really good yarn. Coast to Coast yarn is also like a yarn dyer that I just haven't bought yarn from that much. Like, I bought the one colorway from her, I think it was called Unexpected Friendship, that I used in my Slanty Stripes tee, and that was the first yarn I bought from her. And so again, it was like, has like this favorites collection coming out, and so there's all of these great colorways that I just, when it came out, I didn't know about the yarn, and so I'm excited for this opportunity to get my hands on some of that yarn tomorrow or today or whenever you're watching this. So, or if it's past, then that's unfortunate if you're looking forward to the yarn pre-order. But Sunday on, what is it? Today's the 11th, March 11th, so March 12th, is the Explore Knits National Parks collection. It is a ginormous collection. I have so much colorways that I want to get from that collection as well. Just also because like I haven't seen these colorways, I haven't had a chance to get them, so I'm like, this is my chance to get my hands on it. And also the boucle base. I was purposefully finished this sweater before the collection dropped tomorrow because I wanted to know if I liked boucle so that if I like it, I'll buy it. And if I don't like it, I'll know not to buy it. And the answer is I love it so much that I want to get all of the boucle. Yeah, okay. Oh, now I remember the sweater that was the sample that Ali had made for using the boucle base was the Port sweater by Ozetta. Pretty sure that's what it's called. So I want to make that in the same color as her sample and other of the amazing tonals on the boucle base. Okay, enough about boucle, but yeah, this video was pretty much like normal content plus how much I love boucle plus the ExploreKnits pop-up review, not review, like my experience and some acquisitions. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's a long video, but yeah, as always, let me know in the comments down below what you've been working on while listening to this video and maybe some future plans on what you're planning on, if you're planning on buying from the Coast to Coast yarn or the ExploreKnits, oh my gosh, the National Parks collection. Like, let me know down below because I love talking about and kind of like planning out that yarn stuff as I've figured out. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Any new patterns you've discovered, would love to know as well. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is @arieknits. It's the same name as this podcast. And feel free to subscribe if you like these videos. And I hope to see you here again next week in next week's episode. Bye!